Eta, ladies, gentlemen, and baby birds, and welcome back to the channel. It's your host, Uttapan Dragon, and today we're going to be taking a look at what rotations are and how they work. The inspiration for this video came from the random teammates that I stumbled upon while farming Nautilus Prime in a Lua disruption mission. I typed in chat, can we run a B rotation for a while until I get a specific relic? And after explaining the procedure that you follow to obtain a B rotation, his response was, what kind of witchcraft is this? Truthfully speaking, I don't blame Warframe players for being so lost in the sauce, because everything that's of any importance in Warframe also happens to be the most obscure stuff in Warframe. I'm not too sure why DE insists on being as mysterious as every Steven Seagal movie, but we'll just assume that they don't have a place in the game that we can all easily access this information. But do not panic, for I have taken the liberty upon myself to provide you with said information. And as usual, towards the end of this video, I'll also provide you guys with my tip and tricks that I use to make farming and utilizing rotations more efficient and less ligma. For the slower people in here, what are rotations? Well, rotations are a reference that the Warframe community uses with regards to a mission type's drop table reward system. Majority of Warframe's missions utilize some form of a drop table that dictates what rewards players will get depending on whether they have completed the mission while also meeting specific requirements for said mission. These drop tables that rotate in a constant interval of either time or rounds are commonly labeled as A, B, and C. And each one of these drop tables will have a vast array of rewards you could potentially get from them depending on what rewards they have, and those rewards drop chance percentages. Now, because I know you'll have the attention span of a Fortnite TikToker, I'm only going to elaborate on the rotation systems that need elaboration. Right off the bat, we have the endless mission types. Currently, there are 12 endless mission types in the game that utilize the drop table system. 9 of these missions follow the AABC drop table pattern that occur during a constant interval of either time or rounds in a constant loop. For example, survival missions for the first 5 minutes will reward players from the A drop table. 10 minutes in the mission, the player will then be rewarded from the A drop table again. 15 minutes in the mission, the player will be rewarded from the B drop table. And after 20 minutes, the player will then be rewarded from the C drop table. This process will continue for as long as you can survive the ligma, and the drop table pattern will remain AABC and repeat in a constant loop without any factors altering said pattern. However, there are 3 missions that deviate from this pattern: the index, arbitrations, and disruption missions. At number 1 being every player's favorite sugar daddy, the index, which has a rather strange rotation pattern. After you've completed a round, which is basically collecting and delivering the required amount of points, this will trigger the reward from the drop table. The index follows the ABBB rotation, with the B drop table being repeated after every round is finished throughout your duration in the index, until you reach the 1 hour mark, at which time you will then receive a singular reward from the C drop table. Keep in mind, this rare appearance of the C drop table only takes place once per match. At number 2, we have all the river and rolling addicts' favorite mission, arbitrations, which follows the AABBCCC rotation pattern, with the C drop table being repeated for the entirety of the match after it's reached. And yes, in order for you to receive rewards from the A drop table after round 5, you will then have to extract and restart the mission. And finally, at number 3, we have disruption. Ah yes, disruption, where all the crackheads go to stress test their warframes and weapons. Not only is disruption among the most engaging missions in the game, but it also has one of the most complex and controversial rotation systems in the game. Unlike every other endless mission type in the game, the rotations in disruption entirely depend on your performance in the mission. Depending on how many conduits you choose to defend in disruption, it will ultimately dictate what rotation you will get for that round. Now, Due to this rather unique mechanic, it leaves the players a lot of room to decide for themselves what rotation rewards they wish to get for each round. In rounds 1 and 2, you'll have a choice between the A and B drop table rewards. In round 3, you'll have a choice between A, B, and C drop table rewards. And from round 4 onwards, you'll have a choice between the B and C drop table rewards. And yes, unfortunately, if you wish to farm the A rotation after round 3, you will then have to extract and rerun the mission. Now, as much as this is relatively controversial due to the fact that you have to willingly let some conduits die in order to obtain certain rotation rewards, it does however have a certain layer of efficiency and convenience to it. So, just ignore the shade that Little Duck tries to throw at you mid-mission. Moving on from the endless mission types, we have the bounty mission types. This section is going to be for the planes of Eidolon, Cambion Drift, and Orb Velis, due to the fact that Zaramon 10-0 and Sanctum Anatomica only has one drop table to issue rewards from per tier list. I guess that DE completely lost the sauce when designing this rotation system, because even though the previous missions were slightly different, they stayed within the same concepts of how the rotation systems was implemented. But the bounty missions, on the other hand, took a 90-degree turn into the bush. Even though these bounty missions utilize the same A, B, and C drop table concept, the rotations of these three drop tables are entirely determined by the in real life time of the day. The drop tables in these bounty missions run on a 150-minute time rotation. By the looks of it, you could say that from the beginning of the day cycle, they have a B, C, A rotation pattern, which is in a constant loop. As deranged as this might seem, on the plus side, you do get 150 minutes to farm each drop table. And last on this list, we have the two non-endless missions that utilize a rather refreshing rotation system, and probably what is the most sensible rotation systems, and that is the spy and the sabotage missions. What makes these mission types stand out among their peers is that it is entirely possible to get rewards from all three A, B, and C drop tables in one mission in a short space of time without depending on multiple rounds. The drop tables you receive from each mission entirely depend on how many vaults or caches you complete or obtain before extracting from the mission. Additionally, it does not matter in what order you complete said vaults or caches, and the yellow markers on the map that direct you to the spy vaults in the mission does not represent the drop tables. There are 3 spy vaults and sabotage caches to complete or obtain in each mission. If you complete 1 vault or cache, you'll get a reward from the A drop table. Completing 2 vaults or cache will get you a reward from the A and B drop table. And if you complete all 3 vaults and caches, you will then receive rewards from all 3 A, B, and C drop tables. Given the system, it makes these mission types the most efficient way to farm rotation. Why every other mission type does not utilize a similar system, only player attention will know. And now that you baby birds are in the know, it's time for my tip and tricks that I use that make farming and utilizing these systems more efficient and less ligma. Number 1. For the baby birds that are fresh out the womb, running endless missions in order to farm a specific relic or item is also an endurance test, because after a certain amount of rounds are completed, the enemy's levels along with their difficulty will also increase. The reason to why this information is paramount is because Warframe utilizes an accumulated pool system. After each round in a mission is completed, a drop table reward will then be added to your accumulated pool, and only if you extract from that mission successfully will you receive said accumulated reward pool. But if you exhaust all of your revives or permanently die during the mission, you will then lose all of the rewards that you've received during said mission. So don't try to show off for your booger-nosed friends and extract when you notice your weapons hitting the enemies with an equivalent damage to that of a wet diaper. At number 2, if you're farming relics but don't know where to find those specific relics you're looking for, head over to the Void Relic Station to the left of your arsenal in your orbiter. Type in the prime you're trying to find, and the list of relics that you will need will appear. If you drag your cursor onto the relic and look to the right of its name, you'll notice you're able to switch to another tab that will give you a list of places that you can farm that relic. Number 3. If you're looking to farm Lith relics, the most reliable way and less ligma way I found is to run spy missions on Mercury Sui and try to complete at least 2 spy vaults, which, if you're paying attention, is a B rotation. Now, I know there's gonna be some skid mark in the comment section saying Hepwood in the Void is faster. And yes, Hepwood capture mission in the Void is also a viable place to farm Lith relics. But keep in mind, the spy missions, based on your efficiency, can take between 2 to 3 minutes to fully complete, with a 14% relic drop chance rate, whereas the Void Hepwood only has a 7% relic drop chance rate, while also boasting a similar percent chance in obtaining IR instead. Additionally, capture missions have a high probability of turning into an extermination mission as well. Number 4. For Meso relics, I mainly frequent Jupiter IO defense mission, which has a 14% relic drop chance rate for both A rotations, or the spy missions on Saturn Dione, which has an 11% Meso relic drop chance rate. If you complete all 3 vaults, which is relatively quicker, and all around it feels less ligma. Number 5. Unlike running capture missions, which have a high probability of turning into an extermination mission randomly, spy missions, on the other hand, can also turn into an extermination mission if you trigger all 3 vault alarms. To avoid this frockery, make sure you equip either an Ash or a Limbo Warframe. They do well in avoiding most of the traps. Number 6. If you're trying to farm either Axii or Neo relics, the undisputed place to farm these relics would be the Luad Apollo disruption missions. Not only does it have one of the highest relic drop rates of 14%, but due to its rotation mechanics, you can easily manipulate each round to either give you Neo or Axii, depending on what you're heading for. For Neo relics, you're looking to obtain A rotations. For Axii relics, you can either get B or C rotations. As much as disruption missions are relatively taxing, they're overall, in my experience, the best place to farm relics. Number 7. As alluring as endless missions might be, boasting the highest relic drop chance rates in the game, I would advise that you stay well clear away from them for relic farming purposes, because that's where ligma stays. And truthfully, once you're familiar with the relic drop chance rates, you'll find much more efficient mission types to farm said relics. Number 8. If you're running spy missions and are struggling to decide how many vaults to complete in order to receive a specific rotation reward, my advice would be to just get them all. You'll find it's much more convenient to get them all rather than just trying to get either 1 or 2 vaults. Number 9. As much as you may lack a sense of adventure or originality, you need to keep in mind all of the relic farming locations I've enlisted previously are my preference and are the places that I frequent in order to farm relics. They literally boil down to personal preference and what suits me based on stat percentages and convenience. And the veracity of the situation is, if you add just 2 brain cells into curiosity, you might just find more suitable farming places that are more convenient for you. Now, as in depth as I try to make this video, there's still a fairly meticulous list of information that you may need in order to fully understand what each mission drop table rewards are and what their drop chance percentages are. And because I know you lack the capacity to obtain this information on your own, I am going to be introducing a new series to the channel in the form of shorts. These shorts will be providing you with rather quick but crucial information you may need in order to have a more pleasant time obtaining certain obscure Warframe items that costed me way too many brain cells to farm without said information. Because, as usual in these videos, I provide you guys with all the information that I've garnered after all my trials and errors so that you don't have to go through all that absolute facial disgrace by yourself. And that, my friends, is going to bring us to the end of this video. If you possess any information about rotations that you think might be crucial to know, feel free to enlighten your fellow baby birds in the comment section below. If this video was informative and helpful, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button. But because I know you're a cheapskate, I just want to let you know that it's entirely free and it helps me out a ton. If you have any questions or you're as confused as always, let me know what you need in the comment section and I will reach out to you. But if it's a broader subject that needs further elaboration, I'll make a video on it. Look at that. You thought you were nothing but navel fluff, but you might just be the inspiration for a video. As I said earlier on, I will be introducing a brand new series to the channel. So make sure that you stick around for that and turn on your notifications. And with that being said, I'll see you all there.